Dear students, how are you? I hope you are well. In our previous class, I told you something about modifiers. Today we will do something related to modifier, and it seems quite similar in appearance, that is gerund. And another thing is participles, present participle, past participles. I will also talk about these two things. So, dear students, do you know what is the function of a gerund? A gerund acts as a noun. How does a noun act? A noun takes its position in a sentence as a subject, as an object, and object to preposition. Similar is the case with our gerund. A gerund is like a noun, and it is a noun. That is why it is called a verbal noun. Firstly, we should see a sentence, and thereafter we will compare gerund with present participle. Okay, dear students, see this sentence. Learning is necessary for every person. Learning. So, how does the word learn comes? It comes from the base word learn. Learn. You know there are other nouns such as learner. Learner. So, the person who learns is called learner. But the action of learning, when we want to mention this, when we want to mention the act of learning, we will use the word learning. So, actually gerund is an action word. It shows us an action. Learning is necessary for every person. So, learning is a subject of this sentence. Another thing, I saw you swimming in the pond. I saw you swimming in the pond. Here you find swimming, and you find a determiner to your determiner, and you know a determiner comes before a noun. Here your is the determiner and swimming is the noun, and we know the main word or base word of swimming is swim, and I have added ing after swim. In this way we can show you some other sentences. Every person should repent for his or her wrongdoings. Every person should repent for his or her wrongdoings. So, in this sentence, you find a gerund. What is that? Wrong or doings. Certainly, wrong is adjective and doing is noun. Doing is the main word here. Repent for what? For his or for her wrongdoing. So, noun is doing. And doing comes from do. Although there is another noun of do, that is doer. and in plural form doers. But here the action is mentioned. And another example, here one thing you should notice, that is every person should repent for his or her wrongdoings. So it comes after a prepositional phrase or in a prepositional phrase. For is preposition and wrongdoing. So this is a prepositional phrase, for his wrongdoing or for her wrongdoing. This is a prepositional phrase, and in this phrase head word is for, that is why it is prepositional phrase, and our another main word is doings, and modifier here is wrong. However, in this way I may mention another sentence that comes as the object to preposition. When any noun comes after any preposition, it is called object to preposition. Object is two types. One is object to verb, another is object to preposition. Thomas Alva Edison has enough contribution to creating an electricity based civilization. Okay, notice in this sentence, Thomas Alva Edison has enough contribution to creating an electricity based civilization. Here you see creating an electricity based civilization. There is a preposition to, you know, contribution to, that is you have found in your appropriate preposition. After preposition comes to, as it is a preposition, you find the verb in ing form. Why? Because this is actually a noun. After preposition comes noun. So to creating what? An electricity based civilization. So in this way we find gerund. Okay, so dear students, notice the examples again on the screen. You see, firstly I have told you learning is necessary for every person. Learning is necessary for every person. Here learning is a subject and learning is a noun. I saw you're swimming in the pond. Here swimming is the object of saw. Thereafter you have every person should repent for his or her wrongdoings. Here doing is the object to preposition for. And next, Thomas Alva Edison has enough contribution to creating an electricity based civilization. Here creating is gerund and that is object to. In this way we are talking about gerund, and what have we found? Gerund is actually a verbal noun. Gerund is actually a verbal noun. This is a noun, certainly noun. And what type of noun? Verbal noun, as it derives from a verb. Thereafter, dear students, we will see some other examples. You see on the screen, I found him in a swimming pool. I found him in a swimming pool. Notice these sentences very accurately so that we may differentiate between gerund and present participle. They are similar in appearance. They will look like same. Here you will find the same word swimming. I have already mentioned swimming in a pond. Now I have again mentioned the word, I have found him in a swimming pool. So what is the difference? I have found him in a swimming pool. Notice swimming. Is it a noun here? If it is a noun, you will find this as an object. But swimming is certainly not an object. Rather, you find an adverbial here. Where have you found him? I have found him in a swimming pool. So, in a swimming pool, here is an adverbial, and its structure is a prepositional phrase. In a swimming pool. What is the noun in this prepositional phrase? In the prepositional phrase, we find noun at the end of the phrase. A prepositional phrase ends with a noun. So, pool is the noun. This is noun. Pool is noun. And swimming is modifier. Modifier. And what type of modifier? Present participle. Swim. And after ing, its spelling is swimming. This is present participle. And as a modifier, we find it a pre-modifier because it has taken its position before a noun. It comes before a noun. That is why a pre-modifier. When we need some other information with present participle, we make it a present participle phrase. And present participle phrase cannot be a pre-modifier. Present participle phrase is always a post-modifier. So, dear students, notice the difference. When we use only present participle, a single word, as a modifier, we use it as a pre-modifier. But when this present participle has some other related words with it and it makes a phrase, then we use present participle phrase as a post modifier. In our next sentence, we will see this. I had a conversation with a man working in a garments factory. I have a conversation with a man. That is, I have talked to a man. I had exchanged my views or opinions with a man. And what is the identity of that man? That man is working in a garments factory. So this is called present participle phrase. Here working is present participle. This is present participle. And after present participle there is another phrase in a garments factory. So the total thing is working in a garments factory. This is called present participle phrase, and this is modifying the very noun man. Man. Which man? If I ask you to whom you had a conversation. I had a conversation with a man working in a garments factory. So this modifies man. Okay, this is one thing. Another thing is, this phrase can be made or can be changed into a clause. This is a phrase and this may be turned into a clause if we want to make it a complex sentence. Actually, it will be clear if I say in this way, if I speak in this way. I had a conversation with a man who was working, or who is working in a garments factory. Then everything is clear. This is called subordinate adjective clause. Why adjective clause? Because it modifies a noun. Which noun? Man. So this is a complex sentence, but when I want to express the same thing in a shortcut way, when I want to express this precisely, I will say I had a conversation with a man working in a garments factory. So I think it is clear to you. Another thing is, here we have found present participle as modifiers, but not as verbs. But the same thing, same word or same form of verb can be used as a verb, not as a modifier. Okay, I should give you an example. Although this has been mentioned on the screen, you see, but if I don't indicate writing on board, it is not clear to you. That is why I am writing again this. Visiting a new place. New place you can. Visiting a new place, you can know a lot of new things. So notice the word visiting. What is visiting here? Is it a modifier, or is it a verb, or is it a noun? If it is a noun, then it must be either a subject or an object or objective preposition. But we know here in this sentence the subject is you. Certainly you is the subject. What is the object? A lot of new things. That is object. Subject, object, and know is the verb. So what is actually visiting? Visiting a new place, what is its identity? This is also a verb, a non-finite verb. Non-finite verb. Why non-finite? Because this verb does not indicate any tense. It has no subject. It does not change with subject and tense. The verb which cannot change in accordance with subject or person and tense, this verb is called non-finite. And finite verb always changes in respect of tense and person. Suppose here you find you can know. You can know. So this can know is finite verb. If I wanted to mention this in a past form, I would write you could know. You would know. It may be changed, but visiting cannot be changed. In every tense, this will be visiting. There is no sense. That is why it is called non-finite verb. So infinitive verb, present participle verb and past participle verbs are called non-finite verbs. They don't change. That is why it is called non-finite verb. However, notice visiting does not modify any word here. It is not modifying any other word in the sentence. It is the separate sentence and there is a separate sense here. Firstly, I have mentioned an action. This action has been done, visiting a new place. So when you have visited a new place, you can know a lot of things. So the impression is that this part or this portion of the sentence does not modify the next portion or main portion of the sentence where we have subject, verb and object. So visiting is not modifying any other word. That is why this is not a modifier. This is neither a pre-modifier nor a post-modifier. Okay. So in this way, another example you see on the screen, that is, I suggested my friend to see a doctor. Mention the next sentence. I suggested my friend to see a doctor, noticing that his health had broken down. You see on the screen the last sentence. I suggested my friend to see a doctor. Thereafter, I have written after a comma, noticing that his health had broken down. So what is the identity of noticing that his health had broken down? This is a present participle phrase, and after present participle we find that his health had broken down. Another clause is present here, that is that clause conjunction, and thereafter we see his health had broken down. His health is the subject, had broken down verb. So this part begins with noticing. In this way, we may mention or we may write certain things with present participles. I could say, I suggested my friend to see a doctor when I noticed that. But after I had noticed that his health had broken down. But I did not take that way. Rather, I have written or I have expressed the sense in a shortcut way using a present participle. So present participles help us to express anything in a shortcut way. This is quite necessary. So dear students, through these examples, we have seen that present participle is used as a modifier. As a modifier, it may be a pre-modifier or post modifier, and present participle may be used as a verb. Verb actually non-finite verb. Okay. So next we should see another thing, that is past participle. Past participle. Past participle has certain other uses, and past participles are also modifiers. We know the use of past participles from the time when we have learned tense. In present perfect tense, we have seen the use of past participle, but we will see other uses too. You see, I need a written text from you. I need a written text, written thing from you, that is writing text, writing thing from you. Written, write, wrote, written. So the text which has been written by you, I need a written text. So written is a modifier, pre-modifier. Pre-modifier because you see it is modifying text and it has taken its place before the word text. Text is the noun. In this way, help the injured person. Help the injured person. Here you see injured is in the same way a pre-modifier. Pre-modifier. And this is like present participle. We have seen present participle as pre-modifier. Now we see past participle. Help the injured man. Injured, the man who has injury in his body is injured. So that injured person should be helped. In this way, we have shown pre-modifier and post-modifier. When we need other things, other related words or other information to mention, we have to use past participle as a post modifier. Okay, so the next example, in the next example you will see the use of past participle as a post modifier. The sentence is, you should read the article composed by Mr. Shakil Ahmed. You should read the article composed by Mr. Shakil Ahmed. In this sentence, you have another past participle, that is composed. Now you see, compose may be the first form of composed. But is it a verb here? Notice the sentence. You should read. So should read is certainly verb. Should read what? The article. You should read the article. So article is the object. And next, composed by Mr. Shakil Ahmed. So if we want to make it a verb, we should write this in another style. What? Article which is composed. Which is, you should read the article you should read the article which is composed or which was composed or which has been composed by Mr. Shakil Ahmed. If we mentioned this in that way, it would be a complex sentence, and there we would need more words, which is or which was or which has been. Okay, in this way it would be verbose. We have written this in a shortcut way, and that is why we have excluded conjunction or coordinating word, thereafter auxiliary verb. Okay, we have excluded this, and this is the precise form of the same thing, and this is quite smart. This expression has brevity, brief. That is why it is more beautiful than the previous one in complex form. You should read article which is composed by Mr. Shakil Ahmed, and you should read the article composed by Mr. Shakil Ahmed. Which one is better? Actually, for the full expression, this is better, but for the intelligent but for the persons having much knowledge about language, the previous one, that is this form, is better. You should read the article composed by Mr. Shakil. So, composed by Mr. Shakil is the past participle phrase. Past participle phrase. You should read the article composed by Mr. Shakil. So, we find again a prepositional phrase after a past participle form, composed, and this cannot be written before the noun article. It cannot be made or used as a pre-modifier. We cannot say you should read the article, you should read the composed by Mr. Shakil Ahmed article. This is quite absurd and impossible. So, when we want to show something more with a past participle, we should use the past participle as a phrase, and it should be used as a post modifier of a noun. I am sorry for the disturb. Next, another example may be given as a post modifier. I must appreciate your work instructed by the architect. I must appreciate your work instructed by the architect. So, I, that is subject, must appreciate, that is verb, and your work is the object. Thereafter, we have another thing, instructed. The work which has been instructed, which has been instructed, or which was instructed. So, which has been or which was has been excluded here. I have not mentioned this, and this expression is better. And this is post modifier. Post modifier. Post modifier of what? Work. Post modifier of work. So, dear students, you have seen past participle and we have seen past participle here as modifiers, but previously we know a past participle may be used also as a verb. Past participle may be used as a modifier, and past participle may be used as a verb too. Notice another sentences, and you know this, and I will not mention them again writing on board. You have done, see the screen, you have done a great job. You have done a great job. You know, after have or has, after any have verb, we have always present participle in finite verbs, in finite forms. You have done a great job. Another thing, being surprised, I could say nothing. Being surprised, here surprised is the past participle. Actually, this is a present participle phrase, being surprised, and here past participle is the part of this phrase, being surprised, I could say nothing. Having observed the situation, I took my own decision. Having observed the situation, having observed, after have verb we have past participle, I took my own decision. And another thing is, Akbar the Great was accepted. Akbar the Great was accepted as a good ruler by Indian people. Here, this is a passive voice, you see. Akbar the Great, that is subject, was accepted. This is finite verb, and here we find be verb and past participle form of accept. Was accepted as a good ruler by Indian people. Another example is, an unpatriotic man dies unhonored. An unpatriotic man dies unhonored. Unhonored is the modifier. So, in various ways we use past participles. Past participles in both finite sentence, finite verbs or non-finite verbs as modifiers, they are used. So, dear students, firstly we have discussed about gerund. Gerund is actually noun, and gerund is not like present participle or past participle in use. Its use is quite different from participles, and when we have seen participles, we see present participle and past participle, and in both cases there are modifiers. There are modifiers, and is there any difference between present participle and past participle? Where should we use present participle as a modifier, and where should we use past participle as a modifier? Notice the two sentences on the screen. The first sentence is, he gave me a shocking news. He gave me a shocking news. You notice this sentence. Here, shocking news, that is, news is shocking. I have received a news, and who gave this? He gave this. So, I have written here, he gave me a shocking news. So, the news is shocking. This is active sense. And another sentence is, the man shocked at the news found nothing to say. The man shocked at the news found nothing to say. Here the modifier is shocked, and this is past participle phrase. Which man? The man who was shocked at the news. Who was shocked at the news. And this is the brief form of, or precise form of the complex sentence. So, this is a simple sentence. The man shocked at the news. Did the man shock? No, certainly the man did not shock. Rather, the man is shocked. The man was shocked. The man was shocked by what? By a news. The man was shocked at the news. That is, the news shocked the man. So, the man is here a subject, but this subject is a passive subject, and the modifier shocked has been used as a passive sense. But it is related to man here, not related firstly to news, firstly related to man, and the man does not shock, rather he is shocked. That is why passive form has been used, and when we want to give a passive sense, we use past participle word or past participle verb or past participle phrase. So, this is quite clear. When we want to express an active sense, we use present participle. When we want to give a passive sense, we use past participle. Notice some other sentences. The first sentence is, nobody should try to get down from a running car. Nobody should try to get down from a running car. So, the car is running, and when I say a running car, what type of impression do you get in your mind? The car is running, it is going on, it is moving forward. This type of sense comes. Moving fan, the fan, flying bird, which is flying. So, it has a continuing or continuous sense. Present participle gives us a continuous sense. Another thing, I love my reading table. This is not continuous actually. This is unending sense. That is, whenever I want to read, I sit on the table. That is why it is a reading table. I love my reading table. In this way, we use some other participles like writing pen or writing ink. In this way, we use some other present participles. And I love my reading table. Here, reading gives us an unending sense of its use. But notice the next sentence and see what we get from this. We want to export some finished goods. Bangladesh wants to export some finished goods. Finished goods. So, finished is the past participle form of finish. Finish. So, goods or things are going to be exported from Bangladesh to other countries. So, these goods are finished. That is, there is nothing unfinished. That is, the action has already been done. Action is complete. There is nothing to do with these goods. Everything has been done. So, there is a complete sense. We want to export some finished goods. Finished good means goods which need no more works on it, on them. Okay. So, this gives us a complete sense. When it is used as a modifier. Then another thing, the drama staged by the students was much applauded. The drama staged by the students was much applauded. So, the drama was applauded. This is the main thing. Which drama? Staged by the students. Staged by the students. So, staged is the past participle form, and by the students has been added with it, and staged by the students is totally past participle phrase. And you see, there is nothing to do with the staging. Staging has already been done. It has nothing to do. This is not in continuous process or continuing form, or this is not unending form. This is complete. So, past participles give us a complete sense. When they are used, they give us this impression that the action is finished, the action is complete. So, this is the difference between present participle and past participle. So, dear students, in this way you should know more and more about these things, and this will help you in your admission test. In your admission test, the same thing will seem to be as a gerund or present participle, or where should you use present participle or past participle. If you have quite clear idea about gerund, about present participle, about past participle, it will be easy for you to give the correct answer in your admission test. So, thank you dear students, thank you very much.